comments and then last question.
Sure. Thanks, Kyle. It was a special weekend for our football program, and it just really continues the great momentum that we've had, and it seems only fitting, really. I think when you look back at everything that was achieved last year, all the records that this team set, going 12-2, winning a conference championship, winning a bowl game, finishing ranked number 24 in the nation, and now to have 8 guys have a chance to further their careers in the National Football League. Just really, really thrilled for them. Joining the 6 from our program that already are on rosters. So the fact that we have 14 players that will be participating in NFL camps is, I think, a huge testament to the growth of this program, and I'm thrilled for every one of those guys.
It says a lot about the growth, too, considering where the program came from, where it is now.
It really does. I mean, it's one of my talking points you've heard me say, but I mean, it was 2007. We were in a one-sided stadium in the Gateway Conference, and we had a lot of growing pains. I mean, 2-10, 0-12, 2-10. I mean, those are some hard times, and were some hard times for a lot of people. But you look at what the last 5 years have been, where every season literally has been better than the previous season. I think we went about it the right way. We had some great coaches here who recruited some great players, and that's really the making of a program. A program's not about any one individual. I think it's about the sum of all the parts, and I really feel when you add up all the parts that we have, the sum is pretty good, and that's what you saw this past season, and I think that's what you saw this weekend.
How much of an impact does the success of this weekend have financially in terms of trying to convince more fans to buy season tickets, maybe convince someone to donate more to HF or whatever? How much does a weekend like this help that?
Well, I think it just validates that they're great players wearing a Western Kentucky uniform. And, our diehard fans know that. I still wonder sometimes if the entire region has figured it out yet. When you look at what Brandon Dowdy achieved, I mean, only 3 quarterbacks in the last 50 years have led the nation in passing yards, passing TDs, and completion percentage in the same year. He's one, Colt Brennan of Hawaii is one, and Steve Young in the NFL Hall of Fame is one. And, a lot of people missed out a chance to see him play. Now, a lot of people did see him play, which was great, but, we only have a 22,000-seat stadium. And I think when you have players like Brandon Dowdy and even before him, Antonio Andrews and Bobby Rainey and Jack Doyle, and those are NFL players that are here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So the fact that we now have 8 from this year's team, obviously NFL teams took note of. I think moving forward, that's really the caliber of player that we have right now, and hopefully more and more people take notice, and hopefully we have some sold-out crowds this year.
It's got to be big for Jeff, too, to be able to tell guys, if you come here, you can make it to the next level.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that Kyle will do the research, hint. But, I think if you look, I mean, there will, in all probability, be some really established programs in college football that will not have 14 players in NFL camps this weekend, and Western Kentucky will. And you're known by the company you keep. And I think if you go back to our ranking, our number 24 ranking, look who's in that top 25 list, and Western Kentucky's in that list. But I think look who's not. I mean, Southern Cal, UCLA, Texas A&M, Penn State, Auburn weren't ranked. Western Kentucky was. Look at this weekend. Look at the programs that won't have 14 players in NFL camps. Western Kentucky will. So to our coaches and to our players, they've really raised the bar, in my opinion, to an all-time high, and there's never been a better time to come here and play football.
You're evaluating coaches' abilities to develop, talent. Just where is something like this rank? Obviously, Jeff didn't bring in a lot of these guys, but you got them to this point.
No doubt, and so much on signing day, I think, is made of 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. But if you look at these 14 guys, I mean, the vast majority of them didn't have a lot of stars by their name. But it goes to show you that if you come to Western Kentucky, you can go to the NFL. I mean, it's happening on a regular basis now. But I think it also shows you that what our coaching staff does, and that they really truly do develop players, and our guys get better every year and leave here the best that they've ever been. And you can come to Western Kentucky under this coaching staff, and they will not only help you succeed while you're here, they will prepare you for the next level. I think that's proof of that this weekend.
Is there anything that surprised you over the weekend especially in terms of repeat?
Well, I think with the draft, you never really know. There's so many different ways it can go, and different teams have different needs. It's only a 7-round draft now. It used to be a lot longer than that, 12 rounds and then 17 rounds. So, back in the day, so to speak, more players would get drafted just because there were more rounds. With only a 7-round draft, you never really know where guys will go. But the fact that we had 3 tied a program record, and was the most we've ever had in 7 rounds, and then the fact that 5 more were signed, probably in other years with more rounds, they all would have been drafted. I mean, back in 12, 15, 20 years ago, we probably, under the rules then, we probably would have had 8 guys drafted. So I'm just happy that they all have an opportunity, because I know how the NFL is. I mean, it's all about production and it's about winning, and obviously on draft day, people make a big deal about where you're drafted, but I know